everyone, Jennifer Crusher here. I wanted to do a episode on what gear I was wearing when I fell, what gear I wish I had been wearing when I fell, and what gear I would recommend that you guys wear on the ride. Not only gear for ourselves, but gear for the wheel. I kind of want to start there. My EXN was saved once again by my Clark bumpers. The Clark bumpers are great. I've seen a lot of high-speed crashes with the EXNs because they're really popular here in Portland. And everybody has the Clark bumpers and they save the wheel. I want to show you up a little closer here. Oh, I did get a flashlight so I can kind of show you guys. Also, like, you can kind of see right there how the Clark bumper was shaved off. And you can kind of see where it took a little damage. But for the most part, it was just like those little tips of the bumpers. I know that technically that's backwards, but I like to do my bumpers that way, number one, because the mud guard gets in the way in the back. If you put your Clark bumpers on the right way, then you can't really put your wheel down because these little knobbies like get in the way of the mud flap. So I like to stick them on the front, and every time my wheel has gone down, the front has taken the most damage. And I always just get a little bit of this little Clark bumper like shaved off. So my EXN seems to be in pretty good condition. I rode it to work today. It was my first time back on the wheel after 8 days of not riding, which is a super long time for me. I was worried that I was going to have a loss of stoke or be not confident on the wheel, but that wasn't the case at all. As soon as I stepped on my wheel to push off to work this morning, I was like, you know, falling's part of the game and I love this damn wheel. So, you know, falling is part of this hobby, and that's why I gear up every time that I ride. Every time that I ride, I wear a minimum of 3 things: full face helmet, wrist guards, and knee guards. Every time. You never know what's going to happen. You know, I've seen all sorts of crazy stuff. I've seen animals like dart out in front of you, you know, wheels cut out, you know, somebody crashing into somebody else, you know, act of God, all sorts of crazy stuff happens. And it's best just to have, you know, some gear on just in case. So the 3 things I always wear, my wrist guards. These are the 888 half fingers. These are leather and they have the protective thing on the back and the front. I am, you know, thinking about getting something that has a little bit more finger protection because I have seen fingers gnashed up on the fall. But this is what I wear during the summer for sure. You can see my hand mirror was scratched up pretty bad from this fall. One thing that I do wish happened, or these wrist guards had, that would be an improvement, was if they were a little bit longer. You know, I kind of wish that they extended down my arm a little bit. When I fell and I woke up, you know, my wrist hurt right in this area. And it's from, you know, the impact of where this ends. So it would be nice if the wrist guards were a little bit longer. And I know that there's the flex meters out there, but the flex meters to me are super constricting. And I'm not really a fan of how cumbersome they fit. So, really glad that I had these. These are the 888 wrist guards. The other thing that I wear and everyone in my community wears are these dual axis knee guards. I don't know if it's Liat or Leat, but these are great. I have multiple pairs of these. These are the large, extra larges. I wear these in the winter because I'm wearing layers. During the summer when I'm not wearing, you know, a base layer, a pant layer, and a rain layer, I could probably get away with a small medium. But the large, if you're in doubt on the size, odds are you're a large, extra large. The small mediums are significantly smaller, and most people I know go up to the size large, extra large. One more thing to note on the knee guards is that there is a modification. This right here, this point that attaches in the middle, a lot of people will add that point so the strap doesn't slip down the back of your calf. That's the one complaint with these. So there is a little modification on them. And I have a YouTube episode on these specifically. You can find out more there if you want. And the other thing I always wear is my full face helmet. I've been wearing this Bell Super 3R since I had my one wheel. I think I had my 16X when I bought this, but I was strong on my one wheel and it took me a while to learn the EUC more than the one wheel. But this helmet did a great job, but I would have liked to have been better protected, and I wasn't really going that fast. I was going somewhere between the low to mid 20s when I fell, and this thing is pretty mashed up. You can see right here there's another like chip, and I'm not too happy with how this thing snapped. I know they're designed for one impact and that's it, but I wish that I would have had a heavier duty helmet on. I did buy a Predator downhill helmet. There seem to be 3 categories of helmets: the bicycle, the downhill e-skate, and then the motorcycle helmets. I went to Cycle Gear and tried on a bunch of their helmets, and even the super lightweight carbon fiber air ones they're heavy. And it's not even so much how heavy they are, it's that it cuts off my peripheral vision, and that's super important when I'm riding. That's why I fell on Thursday, is because I didn't notice somebody from so far on my side coming at me. I was, this is my kind of field of vision, and when somebody's coming at you from the side so hard, sometimes you don't register that that's happening until it's too late. So I am excited about the Predator helmet I bought. I think it's the model number is called DHX or something to that effect. My friend Grace, who rides, she has one and let me try it on, and it's definitely a step up from the Bell Super 3R. This thing, is great for if you're riding a one wheel or if you're riding an 84 volt EUC. But once you start getting into the 100 volt EUCs, it's, in my opinion, after having this fall, it's time to enter into the next, tier of protection. And every time that I fall, I buy new gear. It's whatever injury hurt the most or whatever gear was broken, I have to replace it. This ride, I ended up replacing my hand mirror, my helmet, and my shoes. So let's move on to my shoes. The shoes I was wearing when I fall are the shoes that I always wear when I ride. These are the 510 Impact Pros. They're a pair of mountain biking shoes. These are so great because they have this bottom rubber sole. They're super hard. I know some people have a different opinion on how they like their foot to touch the pedal of the wheel. Some people that I respect that are way better riders than I am prefer a soft sole shoe so they can feel the pedal. For me personally, I like a really thick rubber sole, and that's what I've been riding in. But these low tops just don't keep me in, and I've fallen, the last couple of times I've fallen, my shoe is kind of slipping off, or my foot comes out of the shoe altogether. and that's really dangerous. I'm surprised that I haven't, you know, clipped my ankle or hurt my foot or twisted my ankle or something to that effect. So I did, when I went to Cycle Gear and I was trying on helmets the other day, the guy who was there recommended these shoes to me. They're a motorcycle boot made out of leather. I'm trying to remember what they're called. It doesn't really matter, but so I got these shoes or boots that come up a little bit higher, and there's some armor in the side of it here, and there's some flexibility in the shoe, which is nice. When it's hard when you start getting into the boots that are a little higher up, because it does affect your ankle flexibility, and that is something important to me on the ride. So I'll see how I like these once I ride in them. Today was my first day back on the wheel, and I just wore my 510s because I was running late to work. Typical. So I am excited to try these boots, and I'll probably do that on my next group ride, which will probably be the Seattle Saturday night ride next weekend. I'm still trying to give myself some time to rest up from the fall. The thing that I'm really glad I was wearing was my Knox Urbane Pro jacket. This is a motorcycle jacket, and this thing is amazing. I wear this thing all of the time because it's so easy to throw on and throw off. And this piece of gear I would recommend specifically for the ladies. Ladies, every time we buy gear, the shoulders are way too wide, the arms are too long, there's no cut in for the waist. This thing is absolutely phenomenal. This thing, when you first try it on, you want it to fit really tight, because I bought this in a medium and it was tight when I first tried it on, but as I wear it and as I've ridden in it, it loosens up like a quarter to a half a size. So it's very similar to a helmet, where as you wear it, it gives a little bit. So buy it tight. Buy it as tight as you can squeeze into it. It does come with a chest insert. That is, of course, an additional $60. I think I spent $360 on this jacket, but it's great. It has saved me from a lot of elbow injuries. I've fallen in this jacket a number of times, and I never have my pads shifting. It has shoulders that are short enough for a woman's figure, and I'm constantly hitting my elbow. And again, this jacket saved me from the shoulder elbow impact that I took. Ladies especially, Knox Urbane Pro. It actually fits like a woman's piece of clothing and not a unisex shoulder, you know, bulky thing. The last thing I was wearing, which is what I always wear for back protection, is my Bobblebee backpack. I did take the body or the back armor out of my Knox Urbane Pro. It is a little cumbersome to double up the back protection when you're riding, and I 99% of the time am wearing my Bobblebee when I ride. This is the 20-liter model. It looks bulky, but when you're wearing it properly, it feels like you're not really wearing anything at all. There's two attachments, one chest and one waist. And when you cinch this backpack up right, it really curves into the back of your body. And you can see it right here, but it's hard to explain until you try it on. But this is a 20-liter Bobblebee, and it's a hard shell. It's a hard shell backpack, and inside it's just a bucket. So you need to have your stuff all in little baggies. You know, I just bought some of these Eagle Creek bags, and I throw my stuff in there and just kind of keep it separated. I have my, you know, my fun stuff in there, my tools in there, my shenanigans. And this backpack is really modular, but it is also expensive. I would recommend looking on eBay if you want to get one of these. They can be super expensive if you're buying them new. And what else? Oh, I was wearing this rain pant when I fell. This was the 3rd layer pant that I was wearing, and I did cut holes in it when I fell, which sucks, but that happens. These were cheap. I think I paid $30 for these on Amazon, and it's great because you just slide them right over whatever you're wearing, and you know, it's not about looking cute in the rain, it's about being practical. And the things that I wish that I was wearing when I fell, the one thing I wasn't wearing were my padded shorts. And I always wear these. I wear these like 95% of the time. And the one time I fell, I wasn't wearing them and I regretted it. Of course, I took a fall to the hip. I think that's probably the most likely place to fall. When I fall, I normally take a slide out, and I'm normally, you know, sliding onto like my hip or my butt area. And these are great. This is Bond body armor. And I'm not a fan of their jackets, but their padded short I like quite a bit. I upgraded the armor, and it's super thin. You can see how thin it is. And it really does take the impact of the hit. When I first saw how thin this armor was, I was concerned that it wasn't going to be good enough, and surprisingly it is. Another thing I really like about these padded shorts is that they cover my hip bone. So it's enough coverage up top, and then it goes all the way down to my knee compression sleeves, which I wear when I do longer group rides. I was not wearing these when I fell either. So I should have been wearing my compression knee sleeves and my padded shorts when I fell, but I wasn't wearing them. I wish I was, but that's falling on the ride. That happens. So that is a quick summary of what I was wearing when I fell. The things that I will be upgrading are my shoes. I'm going to go from the low cut. I'm trading the ankle flexibility for something with some more ankle protection. It's going to be a weird adjustment, but a smart one in the long run. And the other thing that I am going to buy new is a full face helmet. I'm getting the Predator. I think it's a DH6X or something. But that's going to replace my Super 3R here, which has been a real champ. But it's time to retire this bad boy. And like I said, I would not recommend these full face bicycle helmets if you're riding anything more than an 84 volt wheel. Once you start getting, this thing barely survived an impact in the low to mid 20s. So keep that in mind, you know, you 100 volt riders, as the speeds get up to, I mean, I'm regularly kissing 40 miles an hour. Sunday Rev Rides ride, we're cruising 35 for the majority of that ride. And, you know, we kind of like, oh, we'll kiss a top speed and come back. We'll kiss a top speed and come back. And we're feeding off of each other's energy and stoke. And things can get heated on the ride, and that's what makes it so fun. But you have to think, when you're going at those speeds, if something happens, that's like twice as fast almost as I was going when I fell. So I am concerned about getting a full face helmet that has more safety features, a little more durable, a little more protection. I wish that the safety standards were easier to understand. There seems to be 3 separate safety ratings systems, one for the bicycles, one for the downhill e-skate, and then one for the motorcycle helmets. That's the Bell and Snell ratings. But again, you are sacrificing being able to see and hear what's around you when you're so packed in there with the helmets. So if anybody has any other recommendations on helmets, definitely comment and let me know what you think. I would like to have 2 helmets. When my helmet broke, I had to borrow one from someone in my community so I could get to work and back. Thanks, Drew. Appreciate the helmet loan. So it is good to have multiples of your safety gear. It is good to gear up every time. Like I said, when I'm even just riding to the grocery store, full face helmet, wrist guards, and knee guards. I always wear those 3 things whenever I step on the wheel. But when I'm doing the group rides, I do wear the motorcycle jacket, the padded shorts, and the knee sleeves. So that is a summary of what I was wearing when I fell and the pieces that I decided to upgrade to for continuing to ride on the 100-volt wheels. I hope that everybody rides safe out there. Anything can happen at any time. I know that we love this hobby, but let's try to be aware, especially when we're in group settings, to signal. I'm a big fan of signaling. Don't be shy to let somebody know that you're passing. Hey, passing on the right. I have a bell that I use when I pass people also. Also flashing a flashlight, just a little ticker, ticker, you know, click, 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 to let people know that you're passing. Communication is key on the group rides. So let's try to be safe out there and have a good time, and try to watch your intoxication levels on the ride. I know that we all like to catch a little buzz when we're riding, but sometimes, especially here in Portland, things get crazy, especially when Pedalpalooza starts hitting the streets. And I know next month Pedalpalooza is going to be out here in full effect. So try to be careful out there, try to be aware, be prepared for the unexpected, but most of all, have fun out there riding, everybody. I'll see you next time. Bye.